Hello there in Internet Land. This is episode 25 of the Stop the Damn Match Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Phil Lamington. Seated to my left is JB, who looks rather tired.
Yeah, well, back-to-back nights, man.
And seated to my right is Shay, who looks rather well rested.
Yeah, sometimes.
See, I got to admit, towards the end there, I was getting up and down because I was just like, if I sit in this chair for any longer, I will crash out. It's been a long friggin' day.
I was riding the sugar buzz of like 2 consecutive soft drinks. I'm like, okay, let's ride this eagle in.
Let's land this plane. Right, so we just finished watching All Elite Wrestling's flagship pay-per-view, All In 2023, from Wembley Stadium in London, England, as the car drives by yet again. Get your new exhaust pipe, mate. Jesus. So the show kicks off with the Real World Championship match between Ring of Honor Television Champion Samoa Joe, and the Real World's Heavyweight Champion CM Punk. Now, much like last episode, I'm not going to go through the blow-by-blow on the pay-per-view and the matches and that. We're just going to cut straight to who won and then give our thoughts, give our scores. Off we go. So at the end of the match, Punk hit the Pepsi plunge from out of nowhere like it was an RKO. And Punk won by pinfall. Shay, what are your thoughts on the match?
It's a pretty good match. Those two have a lot of history together, and it's always good seeing him in the ring. Seeing the Pepsi plunge being pulled out was actually pretty sick, especially from the top rope. Just awesome. It's a pretty solid match. Not the best match. Not the best match I've ever seen in the world, but still pretty good.
We're gonna give it out of 5.
I'll give it a 3.5. It's pretty solid.
JB?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good throwback to their, what was it, Ring of Honor days. Because I don't think they ever wrestled each other in WWE, did they?
No.
They never crossed paths, and, you know, Punk pulling out the Pepsi plunge at the end, which was like banned in WWE, was a nice throwback to the indie days. But yeah, I was hooked on the match. I thought it was a really good physical match. 3.5 as well.
Right, well, I thought they had tremendous chemistry.
Yeah.
I think they called an audible pretty early on to swap the roles of... Because I think going in, CM Punk was supposed to be the babyface. And then the crowd just cheered for Samoa Joe. So they did an audible, and Samoa Joe acted more of a babyface than CM Punk.
Samoa Joe.
And Samoa Joe, he really was lapping up the crowd being behind him. Like, he was really getting into it.
He was doing that opening match thing where you got to fire the crowd up. He was doing a really good job of it too.
CM Punk did a little bit of John Cena's routine and then did a bit of Hulk Hogan. And eventually Punk hit was doing Terry Funk's spinning toe hold.
Yeah, that was a good tribute.
That was a nice little tribute. The only blemish I had on the match, like, it was a solid match, but the only thing about it was I felt like it didn't get into top gear.
Yeah, it didn't feel... They never took it to that level that it needed to be, like, even in the end.
Yeah.
Like, it sort of just moseyed along from start to finish.
It plateaued and it sort of... It
stayed there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still gave it a 4.
Yeah, I thought it was solid enough.
Yeah. Right, the next match was the trios match between Bullet Club Gold, which was Switchblade Jay White, Juice Robinson, and... Now, I'm going to butcher this, so apologies to all the Asians. Shogo.
Hi, Shogo.
Konosuke Takeshita?
Takeshita.
Take a shit. versus the Elite, which was Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and Kota Ibushi. I got that name right. Towards the end, after hitting 2 V-triggers, Takeshita rolls up Kenny Omega, and because he hit the V-triggers on the other 2 guys in Bullet Club, but then Takeshita rolled him up, and Bullet Club Gold wins via pinfall. JB, what were your thoughts?
It was a really good match. I like watching Omega wrestle. I was actually genuinely surprised he didn't win the match, to be honest. That was probably the only my true shock, but I thought it was a good trios match at a good pace, really. And I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5.
Shay?
Yeah, I mean, it's Kenny Omega, for fuck's sake. He never has a bad match. It was entertaining thoroughly from start to finish. A lot of action going on, which is always nice. Seeing Golden Lovers get back together was awesome. Except, Ibushi kind of fucked one of the backflips up at the same time.
Yeah.
But it still looked pretty good in the end. And, it's very rare that Omega makes a mistake, which I'm pretty sure he didn't the whole entire night. I give it a 4. It was a really solid match.
Right, well, I thought it was a solid match, and I'm probably going to cop some heat for this, but again, I didn't think it got to top gear. I think it just, it plateaued again.
Probably not as bad as the first match.
No,
like
but
there was still definitely a step up in energy, but
yeah,
it wasn't like if they're going to call this the WrestleMania of AEW, it didn't reach a WrestleMania level of energy.
Excitement, yeah. One thing that I found really annoying during this match was JR constantly calling the referee out on not following tag team rule protocol. Like that was really starting to get annoying after a while. But overall, I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was still a great match.
Fair call.
The next match was for the AEW World Tag Team Championships between FTR and the Young Bucks. And at the end of the match, FTR hit a really impressive looking shatter machine.
Yes.
And FTR won via pinfall. So we'll go with Shay again. Shay, what were your thoughts on the match?
This match was pretty hard hitting. I mean, Young Bucks always have great matches with FTR. I mean, they gave FTR the name, which is kind of a cool little throwback that they had in the promo before it. Just hard hitting, even apparently to his missus as well from FTR. But yeah, it was really entertaining. That's pretty much a going theme throughout most of the night. I'll give this one. I'll give it a 4 as well. It's really solid. I quite enjoyed it.
JB?
Yeah, I really like this match a lot, actually. I really like watching FTR wrestle. And the Young Bucks are pretty good, too. Yeah, the Shadow Machines were great. It was crazy. They were just stealing each other. There was super kicks everywhere. There were Shadow Machines everywhere. Bodies flying everywhere. Slobber knocker, car crash of a match. Really enjoyed it. 4 out of 5.
Well, special mention for me goes to FTR because they came out with armbands for Jay Briscoe, Brody Lee, and Bray Wyatt.
Yes,
which that was a really nice touch. The match to me felt very much like a match from the late 80s, early 90s between the Rockers and the Hart Foundation. And if you know your history, you know the Rockers was Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. And
the Hart Foundation was Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Knight Hart. You've got the flamboyant team and you've got the very technical-minded team.
And they complemented each other.
Absolutely.
They really, their styles matched.
Yeah.
Like, everything athletic the Young Bucks could do, FTR could counter with a similar level of athleticism.
And then they tried to do, FTR tried to do the flippy-dippy stuff as well.
Yeah.
I think it was, wasn't Cash, it was Dax, did a 450.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just, it was almost, you know,
No,
Hardy Boys versus Edge and Christian sort of stuff.
it was cash.
Oh, it's cash, so yeah.
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 It was cash. And for me, finally a match hit top gear.
Yeah, it really did.
This really did.
The
click
end of this
into-
match was really that energy.
Yeah. And for me, that was match of the night, and I gave it a 5.
Nice.
And that would be a first where I've sat there and gone, the Young Bucks did a good match. So that's, that was really impressive. The next match was the Stadium Stampede match between the Blackpool Combat Club, which was John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Santana, and Ortiz, versus Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, and Penta El Zero. And towards the end of the match, Orange Cassidy hits the Broken Glass Orange Punch on Claudio, and Orange Cassidy wins for his team via pinfall. JB.
Match of the night.
Yeah?
5 stars. It was chaos. It's everything I love. Just violence. Just violence and chair shots to the head. It was like WWF style, like what street fights used to be.
Attitude Era.
Attitude Era
title.
hardcore matches. What Extreme Rules used to look like before they got all protected and shit.
Before they had him in the
Before
ring.
Benoit.
Everyone was bleeding and everyone was getting stabbed with shit. And everyone was jumping off things. And I think the only thing that didn't happen, no one got hit by a car.
The fucking skewers.
The skewers, man, the barbed wire, everything. Everything's wrapped in barbed wire. And there was glass. I mean, it was sugar glass, but it was still glass. I think the only thing we're missing were like thumbtacks and
Hey, we had cookie trays.
no one drove a golf cart, but that was okay. No, I loved it. That was just my favorite style of wrestling, just violence. And I'm pretty sure the last time they did a Stadium Stampede match, I gave that one a 5 star as well because it's just everything I love. Everything I love in a match.
Shay?
As Johnny said, yeah, it was just chaos. It reminded me of the old hardcore matches. Like, immediately come to mind was the WrestleMania 17 match with Big Show,
Raven.
Kane, and Raven.
Yeah.
Yes.
They nearly took the power out to the show.
Yeah.
Except, yeah, this one didn't have the golf club from it. That was last Stadium Stampede. But
Because that didn't end so well. That was Matt Hardy, I think, got hit by it, didn't it?
yeah, it was it?
Yeah. He got hit by it because he got a concussion and it was nearly a career-ending
No.
concussion.
He didn't get hit by the car. Matt did a swanton off a bloody ladder and then like hit the top of a table on the back of his head.
That was Jeff.
No. He did either it was a swanton or it was a leg drop. I think it was a leg drop actually.
Yeah, he did
missed
the leg drop. Yeah, that's right.
missed the table and whacked his head on the back of it and had like a massive gash in his head.
Idiot. You idiot.
Quoting his wife, "You're an idiot." But yeah, it was absolutely chaotic. It was a brilliant match. I loved it too. I'd give that a 5 as well. It was just entertaining from start to finish. There was shit going on everywhere. They have dual screens going on.
They had to have dual screens
Both.
because there was so much shit happening.
And also the random security guard that got beaten the shit out of by Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, pretty sure he was a plant, but still.
Yeah, but still it's funny.
Well, I think he was actually a security guard, but he was just like, "Can I be involved?" And Eddie Kingston's like, "Fuck yeah, you can be involved."
Do you want to get punched in the face?
Yeah, sure. For entertainment, buddy.
Yes, entertainment.
The skewer spot involving Mox, that was a bit gross for me. I was like, particularly when
He's done that a few times now.
Yeah, he did a death match
It
before.
never gets prettier. Like it
Yeah.
never gets any easier to watch.
Yeah, he did that.
Especially when he got spiked on his head and one of the skewers was still like sort of in there. And I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck, that's gonna go through to like his skull, his brain.
Yeah, it's like an alfalfa.
Yeah, I know. I think it fell out just before he landed, but
Yeah.
fuck, man. And the fork.
yeah. Oh, that's a tribute to Abdullah the Butcher,
Well, that was a lot of butchering.
because Abdullah the Butcher used to use a fork.
That was as close to CZW as I've seen since the last time I watched CZW on YouTube.
Anything didn't have his like lobes.
Well, lucky it didn't have the fluoro light shoes, but Again, as I said,
Don't give them ideas.
again, as I said, that was everything I love in a match. Everything I love in a match, because I'm like, I'm glad that's not me.
Moxley bleeding in match? Never.
There was a massive pop for Sue.
For Sue, the mum.
And the baking trays.
And the baking trays, yeah. And the finish was actually really innovative. Clearly someone has watched Kickboxer, wrapping their hand up and then smashing the glass and dunking their hand in the glass and then hitting the punch. I gave it a 4.5. I thought it was a really great match. I just hope we don't see the skewer spot again.
Oh, it will.
The next match was the AEW Women's Championship. It was a fatal four-way between Hikaru Shida, Tony Storm, Saraya, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And at the end, Saraya hit a perfect plex on, I think it was Shida. Was it Shida? Or was it Tony Storm?
It was Shida, yeah, because she sprayed Tony Storm with the spray paint.
Yep. And Saraya won via pinfall.
In her hometown, or in home country.
With her family. Shay, we'll go with you.
It was pretty entertaining. It was a feel-good finish, which is nice with Saraya and her family being there and with all the well-documented history. Seeing Tony Storm just make mistake after mistake accidentally and then Saraya just beating the shit out of her, it was funny. It was just like the comedy match. But it also had like parts of seriousness in it too, which is awesome. For being the only women's match of the night, it was okay. It wasn't the greatest women's match, but it was entertaining, and it wasn't just a fucking divas match where they're just, doing Thez presses and just wailing in each other there. There was actual moves going on, which is good.
Faces.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that, though.
The good old days.
But yeah, it was an entertaining women's wrestling match rather than being just, random shit. I give it a 3.5.
JB?
Yeah, this was the deep breath after the chaos. This was the calm down. I won't degrade it by saying it was the piss break match because it was still pretty good. But this was definitely alright, you've just seen like 40 minutes of people just literally trying to kill each other. Let's calm it down and bring it back to actual wrestling for a bit. And that's sort of what we had. And the ending was a little bit messy for mine. I wouldn't have minded, because Tony Storm and he was the Japanese chick. Now, who was the other chick in the match?
Hikaru Shida.
Yeah, like they were attempting a pinfall at the same time Saraya was attempting a pinfall. I didn't know who they were counting for, to be honest. But it turned out it was for Saraya, and good on her. She got the feel-good ending and won the belt in Wembley Stadium in front of her home fans and her family, and it was all right. But it wasn't super brilliant for mine, so I'm going to smack it down. No, I'll give it a 3. I was going to say 2.5, but I'll give it a 3.
Well, I think everyone in the room is going to hate me. I thought that match was insanely meh.
I mean, comparatively. We've seen worse women matches on
true.
on WWE now.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen worse women's matches on AEW. I mean, I remember when Jade Cargill was wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was useless. But just this match, it just felt meh. And the highlight for me was Saraya coming out with her family.
Yeah. This was definitely like just resetting the crowd.
And for me, I don't think Britt Baker needed to be in the match.
She didn't really do much.
Yeah, she didn't do anything.
Yeah.
The whole point of the match was to get the belt off Shida and put it on Saraya for the feel-good moment.
Yeah.
And to have the Outcasts start breaking up.
Yeah, and to add the tension between Tony Storm and Paige.
And Britt Baker just felt like she was an afterthought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Britt Baker was just there because
they needed a number.
Yeah, because it would have been a triple threat match and it would have been 2-on-1, basically, handicap match.
Yeah.
They just needed a fourth.
So I'm going to get stoned for this one. I gave it a 2. It just did not.
Well, I was going to give it a 2.5, but I bumped it up to 3 because I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah.
It was there for a reason. It was there to... All right, everybody calm down. No more barbed wire and fucking baking trays.
Yeah,
Everyone calm the fuck down. We're back to wrestling for a bit.
Yeah, it just
Go for a leak if you need to.
yeah, it was just
I just did.
yeah, there was just something really wrong about that match, and
It wasn't wrong. I think it was just where it was on the card.
yeah,
What it followed, like, it's like, I don't know, a women's match following the TLC match at WrestleMania 17.
yeah,
Like, you're not gonna. What are you gonna do?
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, the next match was the coffin match between Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage versus Darby Allin and Sting. And I'll say it right from the get-go that it was really cool that Darby Allin and Sting came out to Seek and Destroy by Metallica.
That was pretty sick.
Even though, like, Sting in his WCW days came out to a live version from Woodstock 99, they came out to the actual Kill 'Em All album version from 83, so that was pretty cool. But, JB, we'll start with you with this one.
Yeah, I like this match. This was a fun match. It was a fun match. I mean, Sting can still go, and Christian can still go. It's good. I love it. I haven't seen Christian wrestle in ages. I haven't seen Christian wrestle since he left WWE. Like, that's how long it's been since I've physically watched him wrestle. Because every time I see him on AEW, he's a manager. He doesn't wrestle. He just talks
Well,
shit.
he's not actually the TNT champion. It's Luchasaurus who is the TNT champion.
He's just got the belt.
He's walking around with the belt pretending that he's the champion when it's actually Luchasaurus.
Yeah, right. That's cool. But the fact stands, I haven't seen him wrestle in AEW until now. And he can still go. And Sting can still go. And Darby Allin's always been able to go. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 out of 5.
Shay?
I quite enjoyed this match too. It was, yeah, as you said, awesome seeing or hearing Sting and Darby coming out to Metallica. Darby pulling out the what was it, the thumbtack bloody jackets for him and Sting, even though Sting was doing Stinger splashes, so it was doing literally nothing because he's hitting the front and the jacket was on the back.
Yeah.
The thumbtacks were on the back and Sting's like, oh, just splash in the front. I know there was like 2 or 3 on the chest, but you would have done more damage with the back, mate.
But I don't know. Swerve for me just doesn't strike me as being too interesting. Like, I get he's meant to be
a very flat character, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's
very
athletic.
flat.
Like he's athletic, but he's very flat as a character.
Yeah,
It's almost
He was the
like,
only one in the match I wasn't emotionally invested in.
Well, the thing about Swerve Strickland is that when he was in WWE, he had Hit Row. And then Hit Row and him got released. He went to AEW and Trips brought the rest of Hit Row back. Hit Row without Swerve sucks. Swerve without Hit Row or without Keith Lee sucks.
yeah, because he needs someone to bounce off, and you know, Sting and Darby are not those people to bounce off. Like, they're good, but it's just wasn't a good combination. Swerve is amazing in the ring, absolutely athletic in the ring, and it's great to watch in that respect. But yeah, in character-wise, not the biggest fan. Sting having a half Joker face paint was awesome as well.
That was a cool touch.
We're going to give it a 5.
I gave it a 3.5. It's pretty good.
Right, well, I gave it a 3.5 as well. I think the highlight for me was Darby Allin, when his hands were tied up, was still doing dives and stuff, thinking he was...
He did a suicide dive with his hands tied behind his back.
Yeah. Does he think he's Orange Cassidy or some shit? And the commentary had so many references to music. Like, they said, that table was as strong as British steel. And you're like, oh, great. Yeah, someone's a Judas Priest fan.
Yeah.
Or there was Botchamania references when the table didn't break.
And the table.
But I thought it was a really solid match. And like you guys, I gave it a 3.5. All right, next match. Chris Jericho versus Will Ospreay. And at the end of the match, Will Ospreay hit a second Stormbreaker and won via pinfall. JB.
Yeah, I like this match. I really did like this match. Will Ospreay can fucking go. Will Ospreay can go, and Chris Jericho can still go too. He plays a good heel. I mean, he always has, but it's just good to watch. It's just good to watch them both just go in the ring, and Will Ospreay's super athletic Ricochet style wrestling was awesome. And Chris Jericho just being technical.
Well, going into this match, Jericho was supposed to be the babyface.
Yeah, but
That's-
Will Ospreay is British.
True.
It's never going to happen.
But if you want to see a really good Will Ospreay match, the previous pay-per-view from AEW, Forbidden Door, it was Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega.
That would be a blinder.
It was.
Yeah. Yeah, no, really impressed with Will Ospreay. He can go.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep my eye on him and check out his previous matches too, I think.
Definitely.
He's won a fan out of me.
Dude, him and Kenny Omega, fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could imagine. And you guys said he wrestled Ricochet in the past as
Yep.
well?
Yep.
Fuck.
Yep.
I got to check that out too. Yeah, good, solid match. 4 out of 5. Yeah, he's won a fan out of me.
Shay?
Will Ospreay and fucking Chris Jericho, two of arguably the best wrestlers at the moment, and Chris Jericho being one of the best wrestlers of all time, especially when it comes to match building and, you know, just pure wrestling moves and character building that he's had. It's crazy good. They didn't have a super giant build for the match, but it was enough, just him, you know, sneak attacking him, Will Ospreay when he's on an indie match with his mask on, which is a throwback to the very first time he did it, the first All In, to Kenny Omega, when Jericho had a mask on and jumped him, which is a cool little throwback in the promo, at least, leading up to it. But they're just amazing in the ring, and seeing Chris Jericho sing his way out was an awesome touch, because he hasn't actually brought Fozzy out for in AEW yet, which is cool.
It was better than that disaster appearance on Raw.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
We don't mention that.
He doesn't mention that either. He's like, I don't want to see that again.
But no, those two are absolutely brilliant in the ring. Will Ospreay is one of the best pure wrestlers in the company, or in all of wrestling, actually. And now he is the only wrestler to have beaten Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, and the Rainmaker, buddy.
Kazuchika Okada.
Yeah, Okada in the same year. The only person to have done that.
Resume.
That's, you can't really get much better than that. But I give that match 5 stars. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I gave it 4. I noticed that Taz was back to making up words again. This is possibly the best I've seen Chris Jericho in the ring since, I think, him versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania.
Yeah, he went really hard.
And the thing was, that match was actually really good, but then Vince McMahon said it was the worst match he's ever seen. I don't know, maybe Vince McMahon needs to put his bifocals on. Stop taking roids, you fucking idiot. It did get a little bit sloppy towards the end. Like, I think Jericho was a bit gassed.
He was starting to run out of puff.
And
But the dude's like, what, 52, 51?
Yeah, something like
Oh,
that.
it's fuck. Not really. But I mean, he can go.
But I think they had great chemistry. I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, that was great. And to your point, to Shay's point earlier, when they said, there wasn't much of a build for this match, to Wembley's point, to England's point, they'd sold 70,000 tickets to this before a single match was even announced.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They were 70,000 people already booked and going in blind. And then, you know what? AEW put on a pretty damn good card to repay the faith.
Particularly seeing they didn't really start building this card until 3-4 weeks ago.
It was a late build. Like, there were still matches that weren't confirmed until last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so credit to the British wrestling fans and credit to AEW for paying it off.
So moving along, the next match was for the AEW Trios Championship, and it was under house rules. It was the House of Black, the champions, Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King, versus the Acclaimed, which was Caster, Bowens, and Badass Billy Gunn. Not Scissor Daddy Billy Gunn. Badass Billy Gunn.
Angry Billy Gunn.
And towards the end of the match, the Acclaimed hit the mic drop and got the pinfall and the win, and are the new Trios champions. JB, what do you think?
Yeah, it was a good match. I like the House of Black. I never really got behind the Acclaimed ever, or Billy Gunn really. Not since he left the Fed. But I thought it was a good match. I think all three members of the House of Black are like super athletic and they can go hard. But I guess they wanted the feel good ending on this one, and Billy Gunn got the win. So good for them, I guess. And good show of respect at the end for them handing the belts over like gentlemen and leaving with a bit of honour and dignity. But yeah, it wasn't the best match of the night. I'm going to bump it down to a 3 out of 5. Didn't really invest in it too much.
Shay?
It was an okay match. Like it had a feel good finish to it too, which was really cool. But the entrances, the nod to Bray Wyatt was awesome as well, putting the lantern down.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
And all the fireflies coming out, and then the announcers mentioning it multiple times tonight was a really cool touch.
Yeah.
But yeah, the match itself was pretty good. Like hearing the rap out the entrance is always a highlight as well, especially considering how they freestyle it and don't tell the opposition what they're saying, so they get the genuine reactions out of them. But yeah, seeing Billy Gunn actually be more, he was quite active this match, whereas usually he only just has like one spot, which is awesome to see because everyone thought he was going to retire, but not yet, and now he has a title, so pretty good. I'll give it a 3.
I gave it a 3.5. I thought Malachi's tribute to Bray Wyatt was really nice. I think the teams had solid chemistry. The only issue I had with the match was it felt very stop-start. Like it would do stuff and then stop, and then do stuff, then stop. And I just felt it had a very staccato flow to it. But I gave it 3.5. And then finally, we get to the main event, the AEW World Heavyweight Championship between MJF, one half of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions and the AEW World Champion, versus Adam Cole, Bebe, the other half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. And after we had a false finish later on in the match, Roderick Strong came out and was trying to get Adam Cole to smash MJF in the back of the head with the title belt, but MJF wouldn't do it. And MJF rolled up Adam Cole, pinned him, and got the win and retained the World Heavyweight title. Shay, your thoughts on the match?
This match had an awesome build-up to it. The actual match itself was brilliant because nobody knew which way it was going, who was going to stab who in the back, if they're going to stab anyone at all in the back. And it was one of those matches that actually told a story as it was going, and they showed emotion. Even MJF's reactions was awesome. Seeing Strong come out too, the neck brace trying to get him to sway him to hit it, and then he pulls off the shirt and attempts to nail him in the back, but then didn't. And then the nod back to the last match they had, saying 5 more minutes, and he's like, "Nope, we're going till we fucking finish in Wembley." On the mic was cool. The match was a very, very good match, and in my opinion, the best match of the night. That's I'll give that a 5-star, easy 5 stars.
JB?
Yeah, it's the first match I've seen with emotional storytelling since Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes at the first AEW pay-per-view. That's a long time ago. But the psychology of the match was really good too, as Shay alluded to. Not knowing who's going to stab who in the back. It's like, MJF's going to stab him in the back because he's the bad guy. And then it turns out Adam Cole's the one that's going to be closer to stabbing him in the back. It's like, no, MJF's going to do it. And then neither of them did it. And it's like, man, you just don't know what's going to happen. And I haven't seen a match with that sort of psychology in a while. So it was really good and really really kept my attention the whole time. In fact, this whole pay-per-view sort of did. It was a 4-hour pay-per-view. It didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
It was actually really engrossing. I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5. It was a really good match.
So, to my defense, I was a bit tired. I really, really was tired by the time we got to this point. So, I did feel the match was a little bit slow, and it did feel a little bit stop-start, particularly at the start of the match. I really liked the false finish, where it was the double pin, and it was a draw, and then they brought it back. And Roderick Strong tried to interfere in the match, which we kind of knew it was going to happen, but you didn't know which way it was going to go. And then the post-match, that was MJF saying, "You didn't give a shit about me, rah, 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 rah."
Yeah, you want this belt, you can have it, and throws the heavyweight title at him.
Yeah. I think it's really great storytelling, and if you were to ask me my prediction on what's going to happen from here, I'd say Roderick Strong's going to turn on Adam Cole.
Yep.
And side with MJF.
I think it's going to be them two facing Strong and then another tag team partner. I think they're going to feud there.
Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm okay with that. That'll be fucking great. Give me that, please.
Or Roderick Strong turns on Adam Cole, MJF turns on Adam Cole, and Kyle O'Reilly rejoins with Adam Cole.
I don't think that they're going to turn MJF heel. He's too good as a face at the moment for him to turn back so quick. He's a good anti-hero kind of at the moment. Like, he can do dirty shit, but it's sort of like Eddie Guerrero style where people love it when he does it. He does it.
But overall, I initially gave this match a 3.5 because I was super tired. But now that I've sort of woken up a little bit more, I've given it a 4. So it wasn't a perfect match, but it kind of you know what it really had? It had a Roman Reigns current title run feel to it.
It had psychology.
You know,
yeah, psychology.
Yeah, but it was a little bit more active than a Roman Reigns.
Yeah, he used more than 4
match.
moves.
It was faster paced than a typical, but Roman does it because that's what he does. Because that's what works. Because that's what's worked for ages. It's methodical.
Super punch.
Yeah, super punch, baby.
Super.
Yep. All the way till Mania. All the way till Mania when he's still got the belts. And then Cody's finally going to beat him.
Please.
Right. I had to actually remember what the overall score for the pay-per-view is called on this show.
Cheese graters.
Yes, cheese graters. Right. Out of 5, what cheese graters would you give it, JB?
4 out of 5. This was better than SummerSlam by a long shot.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd be saying that. I think an AEW pay-per-view is going to be better than SummerSlam, really. But SummerSlam was a letdown, so even with Roman Reigns in the main event, this was really good. So yeah, 4 out of 5 for me. I'd watch a lot of these matches back.
Shay?
I give this 4.5. It was by far one of the best pay-per-views of this year. I enjoyed majority of the matches tonight, and all of them kept me entertained pretty much the whole way through. I was paying attention the whole way.
Yeah, like I said, there was a 4-hour pay-per-view. I didn't feel like it.
Yeah, that's how you know it's good.
And the cool thing that AEW does is the shit in between the matches is really fucking short.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's just
like,
all match.
It's like it's been building up for like 6 weeks, and the promo's like 90 seconds long at best.
It's all matches.
Whereas like
great.
WWE is like, this is a 5-minute promo, but first a Slim Jim's had. It's like, for fuck's sake. And then Roman Reigns is going to take 5 minutes to get to the ring.
Yeah, because it's WWE. It's the match ends, waffle on from the commentators, promo for whatever.
Sell shit.
Promo for something to flog off on the
Ad,
shop.
promo for the next pay-per-view. Ad,
and then
10-minute promo for the match. 10-minute entrances for everybody. 40-minute match. So, this is a long drag. AEW is just like, this guy's going to fight this guy because of this reason. All right, entrances.
Let's go.
This guy thinks this guy's an asshole, so now they're going to fight. Okay, roll the tape.
So what score did you give it again, Shay?
4.5. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 4. You know, the big letdown for me was the women's title match, which seems to be like an occurrence on both this and WWE programming, is the women's title matches seem to be the big letdown.
The women's title match and the trios match. That would be the two I skip. But, I mean, the Punk match I'll watch again. This Stadium Stampede match, I'm going to watch that back like 3 times. And the main event was really good, too.
Yeah, but overall, yeah, I thought it was a really enjoyable pay-per-view, and I'm glad the crowd at Wembley brought it.
I'm glad AEW brought it for them.
Yeah.
And we'll
Because
see.
they had so much, the crowd had so much faith in AEW. 70,000 going in, blind. And AEW's like, right, we'll give you something.
And we'll
They
see.
did, they fucking delivered.
And we'll see him again next year in Wembley as well.
Yep, they fucking delivered, so
So I think now,
win-win situation.
the ball is back in WWE's court to top this. Not in terms of how many people they can get into a venue, but it just in terms of a pay-per-view. They need to top this.
Yes, because SummerSlam was worse than this.
Yeah,
This was better than SummerSlam. This was easily better than SummerSlam.
I think that this was probably on par with WrestleMania this year.
Yeah.
But SummerSlam was just a wet fart.
SummerSlam was very flat, very underwhelming for
Yeah.
one of the big 4 pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Even the Roman Reigns match was flat, and I said it wasn't his best.
No.
And
Because-
it wasn't his best.
Because I think with SummerSlam, it should have been someone else versus Roman Reigns, because they call him main event Jey Uso. He is not a main event.
No, he's been carried there by Roman Reigns. So
Yeah.
it's main event Roman Reigns. You can tag along if you want.
You know, it just... Yeah, there was something very wrong on
This was
SummerSlam.
just way more fun and
Yeah.
entertaining and engrossing. SummerSlam went for 3 hours and it felt like it went for 3 hours. This went for 4 hours and it felt like
3 hours.
3 hours. How good.
All right. Now, before we go, so we finished talking about AEW. Unfortunately, last week was a bit of a shocker of a week for wrestling fans, because we lost Terry Funk,
Yeah.
and then the very next day we lost Bray Wyatt. And because I was at work, as you know, we all were, and we've got a group chat, and Shay messaged in the great group chat that Bray Wyatt had just died, and I was just sitting there, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was a Twitter post by Triple H.
Yeah, and it was just,
They say now it's legit. It's not like coming through the dirt sheets either.
yeah, and it was just a what the fuck moment. Like, we haven't seen him since like 3 weeks before WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was the match with him and
Bobby Lashley.
Bobby
was-
Lashley.
Yeah.
Fucking broke his finger, didn't he? Was he the one that fucked his finger up? Yes, it was.
Yeah, but that wasn't.
Because he wasn't going to Mania. And then he got COVID.
Yeah, he
Yep.
got COVID and it triggered a heart issue, apparently.
Yes. Because apparently he's supposed to keep a defibrillator on him. And the defibrillator, he left the defibrillator in the car. And that's what killed him.
oh shit.
The doctor told him to keep a defibrillator on him at all times, and Bray left it in the car. And then his wife found him not breathing, unresponsive.
And it was a shame too. Like, we've been really critical of his matches.
I've just been critical of his creative, because I know what he can do. I mean...
Well, I mean, in terms of creative, like...
No, I mean, sorry, his creative's brilliant. Yeah, no,
His-
his matches, like, he doesn't go... I think I said last time I spoke about him, he doesn't go hard.
Yeah, but in terms of a creative mind, like, he was a genius.
Yeah, but WWE just never really knew what to do with him.
No, that's right. If
But-
he had gone to AEW, I don't think they would have been able to give him not so much the platform, but the production.
Yeah,
To be
like
able to
WWE
pull.
did.
Yeah. But
I mean, shit, you know you're doing something right if Taker himself comes up to you in the ring and whispers to, the torch is yours now.
Yeah. So that was an absolute shock, and
Especially when he was almost cleared to come back too.
yeah,
He was like coming back.
and I changed my my Facebook stuff to feed your head and the white rabbit. And I've had so many people ask me what's that about, or
Went over
Try-
so many
try
people's
and-
heads.
or try and guess what it is or whatever, and it's just like you don't get it. You're not a wrestling fan. You don't get it.
Those who get it, get it.
I in terms of wrestling creativity, I'd put him on par with Mick Foley.
Yep.
Like, Mick Foley was a mad genius, and he was up there with that, and I think he was up there with Paul Heyman and Jim Cornette.
He has the psychology of the Undertaker and the wrestling style of Mankind.
Yeah,
Like, he could have been the best of both worlds, and he probably was going. He should have been. He could have been. WWE sort of dropped the ball with him a little bit as well, but, we've lost the talent. Like, we've absolutely lost the talent. And it's almost unfair because he died a day after Terry Funk,
yeah,
and it's sort of taken the shock off Terry Funk's death.
yeah.
But as I saw in a Facebook post, it's like Terry Funk got to live to 79.
Yeah.
He lived his life. He lived his legacy. He got children and grandchildren,
And he was in the movie Roadhouse.
yeah, like he's yeah, okay, random fact. But I mean, and here we are with Wyndham Rotunda, 36 years old with a young family, about to embark on his re-comeback to WWE, and he's been robbed of it, and we've been robbed of it, and we've been robbed of him.
I mean,
His family no longer has a father.
yeah. I mean, in more entertainment news as well, Bob
Bob
Barker also died from Price is Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was.
but again, he had a good run too.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
He got to beat
99.
the shit out of like Happy Gilmore
Yeah.
Price is wrong, bitch.
twice, on 3 times actually. once in the movie and then twice on Saturday Night Live. So he definitely had a run too. But,
But,
it's just been a week for it, hasn't it?
The things with Bray Wyatt, like seeing Alexa Bliss, who couldn't make it to SmackDown, but she posted a video of her talking about Bray Wyatt, and she was quite upset. I mean, they worked together with
Funhouse stuff.
yeah. The Good Brothers put up a video, or the OC. They,
Seth Rollins did too. He
Yeah.
was cut.
yeah,
I didn't realize how close he was to Bray.
yeah.
He was devastated.
Dude, I can
Yeah.
only imagine how
Bo Dallas is feeling.
Bo Dallas and what's his name from the in the faction that Bray was in,
Eric Rowan,
Eric
and
Rowan.
Braun Strowman.
and Eric Rowan having lost both of his tag team partners now,
Yeah, but also don't forget
In a
Braun.
year.
and Braun as well.
Braun. That's why
What's it been, a year? Was it a year
Uh,
apart almost?
2021.
Yeah, a couple of years.
2 years between Luke Harper and
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt.
And like Eric Rowan doesn't work for WWE,
He'd be fucking
but
devastated.
someone pointed out to me that at the start of SmackDown this week, when they did the tribute to Bray, at the very front was Cody Rhodes, who was Husky Harris's NXT Pro.
Yep.
Braun Strowman, Eric Rowan, and Triple H. So the 4 people that really supported Bray, Wyndham, were in the front.
There's a photo of Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan having a pretty emotional hug.
If I was Trips, because Eric Rowan doesn't work for WWE, I would rehire Eric Rowan and put him and Braun Strowman as a tag team. You know,
Because at the moment, Braun's what's he doing?
he's injured.
Yeah, he still
Oh,
has.
he's injured again.
Yeah, he's out for a year.
Oh yeah, was it his knee?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the big hulking frame of his trying to hold that up with his knees.
Yeah.
It's a lot of weight.
A lot of beef.
But the the best moment or the best tribute was LA Knight's promo.
Oh, God.
How he managed to weave a tribute to Bray into his program with The Miz. And then finished his promo by saying, a wise man once said to me, the next time you see me, run. Oh, look. I was a puddle. I was a mess. I was just like, damn it. Why'd you do that, Eloy?
It just goes to show how good that man is on the mic, being able to weave a tribute in with his promo as well.
And even today on Raw, they did another tribute to Bray. And then they had the Falls Count Anywhere match between Becky Lynch and Zoe Stark. And they sort of built it as a Terry Funk tribute. But Becky was wearing an armband with Bray on it. At the end of the match, she took the armband off and she just fell apart. You know, she didn't hide it. You know, but even Cody Rhodes' promo on SmackDown, where he was talking about he was at the airport with his dad, and all of a sudden he could hear someone yelling, calling his old man an egg-sucking dog, and it was Terry Funk.
God damn it.
And a guy who's been on our podcast before, Tim the Enchanter, when I changed my profile photos and everything on Facebook, he put a comment down saying egg-sucking dog, and at first I thought he was having a crack at me. Then I saw that promo, I was just like, oh, that's right, yeah, because he was a Terry Funk fan because, you know, he likes NWA, not the wrestling, not the
band.
Not the swearing rap group, but NWA, National Wrestling Alliance. And so I was just like, oh, now I get it. You know. But if you don't want, like, my favorite Terry Funk match is Terry Funk as Chainsaw Charlie.
The fucking fishnets on his head.
With Cactus Jack versus the New Age Outlaws in a dumpster match at WrestleMania 14.
Oh, no, they push him off the edge.
Yeah. And, yeah, that's my favourite one of their matches.
That would have hurt so much, too.
Yeah, but they didn't give a shit.
Nah.
Yeah. And, you know, I think later on this week I might pop on Roadhouse and watch it because Terry Funk's in it. And all the insults that some of the bad guys came up with was because Terry Funk told them what to say. Like, one of the actors was sitting there, he was supposed to insult Patrick Swayze, and he's like, I've got nothing. He goes up to Terry Funk, and he's like, dude, you got anything for me to say? He's like, oh, just call him a chicken dick. So he's like, come on, little chicken dick. And it's in the movie.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Go to Funkster.
So, yeah, we lost a couple of wrestling family members, but, yeah, their legacy will live on. Yeah.
Absolutely. Rest in peace, guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that comes to the end of our show this week. Thank you for tuning in this week, and hopefully you enjoy the episode. We might be doing Payback next week, but the card's not looking terribly fantastic, so we might not come back until Survivor Series. So we'll see how it goes. We are going to watch Payback, but whether we do one of these on it is entirely based on how good WWE feels they're going to do with it.
Yeah, if we don't do it, then we'll do a catch-up one for...
I hope Survivor Series knocks it out of the park, though.
Me
I
too.
think they need to at this point.
You know, and I think the rumor is they're not bringing back War Games for it. I think War Games is going back to being an NXT thing.
That's a shame.
Have traditional Survivor Series matches. Have your War Games on NXT where the hungry talent can...
I think War Games on the main card was pretty cool, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But thank you for tuning in on behalf of JB and Shay and myself. We'll see you in a few weeks. But until then, it is goodbye.